Hi and welcome to The Winning Factor. I'm Alan Aitken, and on this show each week we take a look at some upcoming races in Hong Kong and try to isolate some angle to the race that might be a path to finding the winner. Well, the final Sha Tin meeting of the current season occurs on Sunday. That means it's also awards season with Horse of the Year and things like that being decided. So we have our own version of that on this show. And I like to take a slightly different look at the championships. Now, championships in racing all over the world are generally determined by one of two things. Winners provided or prize money won. And that is the case in Hong Kong, where it's all about how many winners jockeys ride or trainers train. But I think that can carry a bias towards the perceived best performers who have the best horses and the best rides. So I like to look at it from a market perspective and see who is having a better season than you really thought, overperforming with what they have to work with. So let's take a look first of all at the Trainers' Premiership this season, if we looked at it that way. So plenty of numbers in the tables I'm going to show you today, but you might find them useful to note down for the future. And our surprise champion trainer this season is Manfred Mann, whose performance, especially in the second half of the season, has far outstripped the betting market's expectations of his runners. Francis Lui, he always figures highly and he comes in a good second, but Manfred Mann has drawn clear. And secondly, when we look at the performance of trainers with the outright favourite in races, Manfred is top two again, where David Hall, winning with nearly 50% of his favourites, has emerged as the season's best. And John Size, well, his favourites always carry enormous expectations, so he's probably done well to exceed those. So back to Sunday's racing, and the first race I'm going to take a look at is race 7, where our winning factor is the tempo. A Class 4, 1200 metres, and it'll look to be good prospects here for some horses who've been racing well in this class, like Bulb General, Rainbow 7, Come Fast Fei Fei and Winning Machine. They haven't had the best of luck so far. But we also have a slightly unusual situation where two of the best chances are horses rising in grade from wins in Class 5, King Oberon and Ruby Sailing. But I'm going to focus on our two top trainers of the season by the metrics I've outlined, and that is Francis Lui trained Rainbow 7 and the Manfred Mann trained Ruby Sailing. So let's see what they've been doing. First of all, Ruby Sailing. This is race 737 and gate 8 here in red and yellow colours, and King Oberon is also here in green and white, gate 6. Brittany Wong on Ruby Sailing is quickly out into the lead. King Oberon jumps well, but he isn't as quick, and Hugh Bowman soon finds himself in a bit of a pickle here, caught 3 wide. Ruby Sailing gets full control of the race and doesn't work too hard before the turn, runs a very sharp last 400 metres, and it's just too hard to get to him for the chasers headed by King Oberon. Now, since then, King Oberon has been out again and had a bit more luck that time, scoring his first victory, and so that makes the form behind Ruby Sailing there look particularly strong. Now, as for Rainbow 7, well, he's had 3 starts, he's yet to win, but he has run second, third and third with varying degrees of luck, and we're going to have a look at his most recent effort. This is race 758, he's in gate 3, green and grey colours, and Rainbow 7 jumps okay, but doesn't have a great deal of speed. In fact, only the slow tempo here allows Derek Leung to have him in midfield and within a few lengths of the lead, but it also means the leaders are going to have plenty of energy in the home straight. Making up the ground is a challenge beyond Rainbow 7, but he does get close and is very brave in defeat. So a race full of merit there from Rainbow 7 with the shape of the race against him, but I think he might get a kinder race shape on Sunday. Brittany Wong and Ruby Sailing, well, they'll be going for the lead once again, I'm sure, but might have another speedy horse to keep them company, riding high, and that should produce a more standard sort of tempo. King Oberon, Come Fast Fei and Winning Machine, well, I can see them jousting for those chasing positions behind the leaders. We've seen that lack of early speed from Rainbow 7, and he's going to be midfield or worse, but I think he's going to get the help from the tempo this time that he might need. So the tip from me in race 7 is Rainbow 7. His winning factor, the tempo. Both of our top trainers of the season in terms of market expectations well represented here with the Rainbow 7 and Ruby Sailing. But I think this time with the tempo a little more in his favour, Rainbow 7 might be able to reel in Ruby Sailing. The other race I want to take a look at is race 10, and our winning factor here, the map. A Class 3, 1200 metres, and there will be arguments made for the consistent module construction. A Bundle of Charm, Celestial Hero was better last start. Matters Most has a little chance down at the foot of the weights, but the major players for me are two last start beaten favourites, Super Infinity and Little Paradise. So this is Little Paradise coming off 2 wins. He was favourite again to win 3 in a row, and this is race 746. Gate 5, mauve colours, and Little Paradise doesn't begin that well, and then you'll see he gets checked by another runner, and that means he settles closer to last. His trouble doesn't end there though, as he's checked again after 300 metres, while Module Construction and Young Superstar are up on the lead. And that's the place to be on the heat map, showing the soft tempo turns into a sharp last 400 metres and making grounders tough. Little Paradise tries his best, but he can't really get into the finish from all the way back there. So a beaten favourite there without luck, and that was the case too for Super Infinity. Without luck, not for the first time in his career when he last appeared, and this race also features Bundle of Charm and Celestial Hero. This is race 775, Gate 1, purple colours, Super Infinity. Well, he jumps okay, but he always lacks a bit of pace, while Gate 6, orange colours, Celestial Hero also jumps okay, but there's no rush from Hugh Bowman, and that pair settles together midfield or a bit worse, while Bundle of Charms, pink and green colours, are trailing the pace in about 5th position. Now this has a faster than average pace, which is helping those horses running on at the finish if they have clear room. But you see in the straight, both Celestial Hero and Super Infinity strike traffic at different points, and they and also Bundle of Charm are arriving too late to get to the strong leader. So that was a good effort by that leader, winning after setting quite a warm pace, and the lead looks pretty well contested again on Sunday. Regular front runners, Module Construction, Young Superstar, Wonder Star and Lucky Planet are spread right across the draw, and most importantly towards the outside, with their need to get across closer to the rail. Now that's going to make a pace that helps Super Infinity, who lacks tactical speed as we've seen. But we've seen too that Little Paradise is versatile. Now he led winning his debut, ran on from the back half of the field winning his second run before we saw that early trouble that befell him last time and made him get back to the tail of the field. Now avoiding trouble, he should be much closer than last time and closer than Super Infinity, but also not so far off the front that he gets the benefits of the leaders wearing each other out. And so with that, now it's the turn of the jockeys to have their seasons assessed on our versus market expectation. And the premier jockeys by market, well, this is the list. Now, in terms of the expectations of the betting, it's Luke Ferraris who comes out champion. 5th on the official table, he is the rider who has outperformed the market the most. Amongst the favourites, well, he's also right there when it comes to those, but the list this time more closely resembles the official championship. And Zach Purton doing an excellent job to be well ahead of what are always incredibly high market expectations on his favourites. So the tip from me in race 10, Little Paradise. His winning factor, the map. He obviously had no luck last time after looking promising in his first 2 starts. I think he's going to be ahead of his major rival in terms of the map. And those stats through the season show that we should have plenty of confidence that jockey Luke Ferraris can deliver the goods. Well, that's it from the Winning Factor for this week and for this season. Good luck on Sunday. Enjoy the summer break. We'll see you next season.